Hey, all, welcome to this week's episode of the Shut Up Get Up podcast. I'm your host, Mike Muldoon, and thanks for joining me on this ride. The holiday season is here, right? It should be a time of joy and happiness and merriment for all. But let's be honest, for many it's not. For some, 'twas the night before Christmas, and all through the house, where no creature might not be stirring, not even a mouse. See, the stirring for many is in their thoughts and feelings of stress, loneliness, and anxiety. According to the National Alliance on Mental Illness, 64% of people report being affected by holiday depression, with, some pretty obvious triggers, the financial, the emotional, and basically just the overall stress of the season. So what can one do to sort of offset these feelings? Or better yet, if you're one of the lucky ones out there who really just find a lot of joy in a holiday, you love it, it's great, you handle it well, then what can we do to help others? I'm amazed every year how many holiday movies are produced. I mean, I can't even keep up anymore. And that's just on the Lifetime channel, right? I mean, each one usually starts with a new boy or new girl in town, right? Where they have some sort of agenda or overcoming some obstacle. They meet he or her, who helps them see the error of their ways, and together romance blossoms and the holiday ends in perfection. But if only that was in real life. When I was working in film and television a lot, I used to look at a lot of projects, and I used to have to get a lot of notes on things. And I used to always talk about, there's the real life, which is the REEL life, the real life, the movie life. And then there is the real life, REAL, which is just reality. And for many, the REAL life of the holidays doesn't have a movie ending. For many, it's stressful, it's emotional, and it hits so many people differently. One of the big ones could be loss, right? Loss tends to be a looming feeling for many around the holidays, because somebody lost close to them, somebody maybe they were used to sharing the holidays with, who's no longer going to be there. Think about what's happened over the last couple of years with COVID and all of that stuff. A lot of people lost a lot of people that was close to them. So now you got all these painful memories of these joyous occasions from their past. And now these memories are like turning around and they're haunting them, right? Or perhaps these were the person that they lost was the one that they were so used to always just sharing this holiday together with. Maybe it was just those two. And now this person's left with the memories as well as the sadness and the loneliness, right? So that's a tough thing around the holiday. Other things, it could be, just an emotional thing, maybe something not as big as loss, but, the heightened expectations of what the holiday should look like, right? I mean, everything has to be perfect. So now all of a sudden you got this added stress of, people feeling this picture perfect holiday. And sometimes that picture perfect holiday, they're going to have to deal with certain things they didn't want to normally deal with, right? Because sometimes, this picture perfect holiday does require people to getting together. And, not all family members get along, but now they're thrusted together in this situation. So, that could bring on some added stress for the holidays. Some other things could be guilt, right? This feeling of guilt. Not being able to provide for their children an on-par Christmas with what others are giving, right? And having this feeling of being a failure of a parent. That's a big thing. I'll tell you one thing that we do in our house is, the Santa gift is never the big gift. It's usually a small, moderate one. So that when our kids, because they're still young and they talk to their other friends about what Santa got them, there's not a huge disparity between, what kids got. So it's not like, well, Santa got me a bicycle and some other kids like, well, Santa just got me a book, leaving a child to feel like Santa loves them less. So that's kind of something we do in our house. But look, no matter what you or someone might be feeling this season, it's really important to acknowledge those feelings. And it's okay to feel sadness and grief if that's what you have. And don't worry about putting on a brave face, sucking it up because it's the holiday. Emotions should be acknowledged. They shouldn't be pushed away. And if you're feeling lonely or sad, don't hesitate to try to reach out to people. And if there isn't anyone, look into the community. Know that you're not alone. One of the best things about the internet is that you can probably just put in a Google search and find others who might be feeling the same way. Or just look in your community. Odds are there's a local charity, a church group, a meeting center where you're going to find others who are feeling the same way. And that might take some strength on your part, because especially when you're not in the mood or feeling the capacity to do so, you might have to shut up that naysayer voice inside telling you, oh, it's not going to be worth it. I don't want to go there. I don't know where to start. What about if I go there and I don't even like anyone? This is where you're going to have to shut up, get up, and go try, because who knows what's going to come of it? Who knows what new friendships or relationships might develop from it? So I get it. It's hard. You're feeling down. You're feeling lonely. You're feeling sad. But you got to try something. It's funny. When I was in my 20s, I was living on the West Coast because my family's from the East Coast. I didn't make it home for many holidays. This freaks my wife out that I would spend Thanksgivings or Christmases away from my family. I spent most of my Thanksgiving and Christmases with some friends and at times even strangers who were friends of friends. And, I made the best of it, who actually turned out to become friends of mine and are still friends of mine to this day. So you just never know what will come out of it when you're kind of put in that situation. Stress around the holiday. Now, if you're one of these people where the stress is self-imposed and you know who you are, getting back to this, it's got to be perfect, then find perfection in knowing it's not going to be perfect. Find perfection in managing the chaos, the unexpected. My favorite Christmas movie is the National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation classic, right? If you remember it, Clark was all about having the perfect holiday, the perfect lights, the perfect tree, the perfect meal. He was having everybody on his roof. It was all about perfection. And all it did was cause problems. The real joy didn't come until the chaos happened, right? Now, I'm not saying your house has to be on fire, the police barging through your windows and a kidnapping attempt. Just go with it. Let things pass. There's that family member that really shakes your nerves. Use the holiday to look past them, rise above them. Now, if it's financial, because you feel the need to spend to make it perfect for your kids, if this is really keeping you worried and stressing you out, then stop. And don't compare yourself to others. Don't compare yourself to what other parents are giving their kids. If social media has exposed anything, that the life people are putting out there a lot of times is not the real life they're living. 63% of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck, and this is including nearly half of the six-figure earners, according to a recent study. Okay, so your neighbors, Todd and Karen, who seem to have, be able to give their kids a magical Christmas every year and seem to be rubbing it in your face, are probably maxed out to the limit on all their credit cards. All right, do what you can, give what you can, because here's the thing. Gifts are given and gifts are forgotten. To all my parents out there, how many times have you kids begged for something? You finally gave in. You got it for them. They played with it and then disregarded it, forgot about it, and that's it. See, the thing is, they won't always remember what you got them, but they'll always remember how they felt during that time. So my thing is, it's not so much about give love. Make it as special as you can, right? Make it as special as you can. Kids will remember that. Like this past week, my wife, my kids, right? We sat around and played Monopoly. All right. Side note, my youngest son smoked us. He's 4. I'm not kidding around. He's 4. He was a landlord. He was an owner and he took all of our money. He is 4. But what I'm saying is my kids are going to remember that long after the Frankie doll from Monster High that my daughter just loves has basically found its way into a recycle bin. So kids will always remember how they feel. All right. So if your parent is worried about like give them love, give them a memory, give them something they'll remember, because that toy they won't remember. Now, if you're somebody like, again, on a financial point, if you're somebody who finds yourself without kids, maybe you're just a young person in a relationship, but you're feeling this urge or an expectation to live outside your means for your significant other, then let me give you the best advice. Here's my Christmas gift to you. It's time to move on. Because you really feel like you have this expectation to give somebody something like this, they're expecting you to do something like that, then you're just buying love and happiness, and that will never last. And again, if you're feeling compelled to do it because they might leave you if they don't, then you need to basically go back and listen to my previous episode on moving from lamb to lion. You are worth more than that person. Okay, if they really love you, they really care for you, it really will come down to, it's really just the thought that counts, all right? So now let's look at the other person. Now, if you're someone, again, during the holiday season who manages their stress, it really is the most wonderful time of year, then maybe you might want to think about some people in your life that you might want to reach out to, that take some time for. Who, just take a moment, try to think about some people in your life who might not have, and you might maybe just take a moment to, it's really funny because as I was doing this podcast, my phone rang and it was my cousin who called. Now it's actually, technically it's my cousin, but it's my dad's cousin. My dad just turned 81 today. So my dad's 81. So this is his cousin. I think, my cousin Charlie's 78. I think it was 78, 79. So he called me. I haven't talked to him in forever, but he called me and I said, well, I know he's alone, because my cousin, his sister's passed away. A lot of his family's not there and he's up in the Northeast. And I said, this is oh my gosh, this is so weird that he called. Why? So of course I'm going to take that call and I'm going to give him all of my attention. I want to talk to him. And I want him to know that he's appreciated. I want him to know he's loved and not just, hey, what's going on? Oh, great. See you later. So again, if you're somebody right now where everything's great for you, then maybe you're just going to take a moment here and reach out to somebody that you haven't talked to in a while and take an interest, make some time for them. Maybe you're somebody who would, might even realize, oh my gosh, why don't I just invite this person over? My wife is notorious for doing this, inviting people around for the holidays who might not have or don't have anybody to spend it with. I mean, sometimes I don't even know who's going to be at the table that day. And you know what? I love it. But anyone who knew me from my past and my days living in Santa Monica, you'll surely remember the barbecues my friends and I used to throw. We threw these barbecues for friends, but not only that, tons of strangers. So for me, I like bringing people together. I like making people feel included. So that's something that, maybe you can do. Oh gosh, I never really thought about so-and-so. She's alone or just her and her child. Maybe, have them around if you can fit them into your holiday spirit. Some other things you can do, obviously get involved in food drives, donate to local charities, not just food, but toys as well if you can. I mean, none of this has to be expensive. What might not seem like much to you, like a $5 Lego set and a can of sweet corn, can be incredibly satisfying to others and make their holiday season. Maybe you can find some time to volunteer. I mean, there's so many needs around the holiday season. But also volunteering is a good one for somebody who might be feeling a little sad and a little alone. It's a good way to get out there and just meet people and take your mind off things. Because one of the most rewarding things you can do is actually giving. You might realize that giving yourself up to others is going to bring an immense joy back into your life. So look, I get it. The holidays, there's such a split between everything's amazing. Some people, it's a terrible time. Some people look forward to it. Some people just don't even want to deal with it, but it's coming no matter what. But lastly, what I want to say here though, is in the spirit of the holidays, let's not forget that the human spirit needs to be nurtured in love. So if you need that nurturing and that love, let's just do what we can to seek it and find it. And if you're somebody who can give it, then make time to do so. And I'll say that for those who really are having a tough time and maybe feeling persistently sad, anxious, irritable, hopeless, or just really down, it seems they can't really pull themselves out of it. This is where I would say maybe contact a health professional. Or if you just need to talk to somebody, you just need somebody who's going to hear you, then I could just call me, contact me. You can always reach me via my email. It's Mike Muldoon at MikeMuldoonLC.com. So MikeMuldoon at MikeMuldoonLC, for lifecoach.com. Because no matter how things are or seem now, you will. And I hate to say it, I don't think you ever get past things. I think what happens is we get to a point where we can manage them better and we can exist with them. And when you do that, someday you're going to look back and you're going to see that in spite of all of it or anything that you might have been dealing with or that really made this holiday tough for you, you're going to be stronger for it.
Get Up.